morning and welcome to our panel discussion this morning on full line solutions. What are the benefits of them? For many years, in recent years should I say, all the major pick and place companies have been developing full line solutions which they claim will give optimized results. So should EMS companies invest in these, and what are the benefits? I have a very interesting and distinguished panel here to discuss this. To my extreme right we have Jeff Timms from ASM Assembly Systems.
Thank you, Trevor.
To his left we have Michael Sayers from Panasonic. And to my right here we have Jonny Nichols from HanWha TechWin. Okay, or is it HanWha Americas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, gentlemen, going to my first question, do you think, or why do you think companies should invest in full line solutions with your systems? Start with you, Jeff.
Well, I think, frankly speaking, that a single supplier allows for a maximum degree of communication between modules, and particularly when you start looking at the open architecture of most of today's software solutions for MES and other areas. It gives you a much easier set of tools from which you can program and tie into larger scale systems. So we very much subscribe to the Hermes standard. We very much subscribe to the CFX standard from IPC. But even beyond that, just the ability to always know exactly what you're looking for, how to interface things, and how to tie things together to higher level systems for some degree of artificial intelligence and data management.
Right, okay. Michael, I mean, a lot of EMS companies, you walk into the factory and they've got their own homegrown software system there. And they regard that as their IP. That's what makes them different from their competitors. So it's going to be quite a task to really convince them to move away from that and move towards, you know, a full line solution and put their trust in one vendor. What is your view on that?
Well, we endeavor to give the customer both, right? We want to make sure that we give them, as Jeff said, kind of a general contractor for a full MES solution with an open architecture that enables them to take all the equipment in the line and integrate it in. But also we want to make sure that they don't lose that best in class, those components that they've characterized or that they've gone after, to make sure that they're getting best in class in regards to print, reflow, AOI, SPI. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we really don't hold our total solutions customers to buy from any specific vendor. We shop best in class, and depending on what the application is, we'll supply a given partner in the line depending on what really brings value to the customer.
Right.
And as Jeff said too, I mean, what we're trying to do is, I guess, provide value to the customer, that they come to us and say, hey, we want a line that does this, builds this product from any given industries, whether it's medical and plantable or whether it's automotive or general industrial, and provide them a platform so they can have the MES solution that really covers the whole line, and at the same time providing that without them having to go into being an integrator themselves. So that's really a lot of value that I think we bring. And if, as you know, you see all the smart solutions here in the different booths, that's what the industry wants now. So it's just our response really to the general progression of the industry and where it's going and what people want from us.
Okay. So Jonny, what's the HanWha approach to this? I mean, what benefits should the EMS companies see through going with the HanWha solution?
Well, I think there's a lot of convenience that comes from partnering with a single source provider for line solutions. I think you have to certainly be cognizant of what the market is looking for. How smart do they want the lines? How compatible do they need it to be with MES systems? You know, you have machine-to-machine communications, you have machine-to-systems communications, and I think partnering with the companies like you have here on this panel, I think we've all invested deeply and aggressively in expertise to be able to achieve the communications necessary to deliver smart machines, smart lines, and ultimately smart factories. But I think when you look at the bottom line convenience of partnering with someone with the know-how and the expertise, I think that helps build confidence in our customers that they're partnering with the right people who have a right mission to deliver the smart solutions to up the efficiencies and up the utilizations and ultimately profitability of their operations. So when we look at EMS companies and we look at OEMs, there's certainly differences between the two companies, and I think the guys like us that are providing line solutions to the marketplace, we're always looking for what we need to do next, where we need to go. And I think that when you look at the solutions that people can put together in a line solution today, certainly you can look at it process point by process point and say, I want best-in-class printing, best-in-class SPI, best-in-class placement, reflow, et cetera. And I think looking at the providers of the line solutions today, I think we all offer best-in-class process solutions. And I think depending on the application of the customer, one may shine a little brighter than the other ones, but I don't think you can make a bad decision today as a customer partnering with anyone that can provide some of the total line solutions business today.
Right. Okay. Now, I mean, Jonny made a good point there. I mean, the OEM customers are very different from your EMS and contract manufacturers. The EMS companies are more resistant to change. Do you think these full line solutions are going to be driven more by the OEMs in the business?
Actually, no. But I do believe that. I mean, if you look at where the capacity is being installed today, a very large percentage of that is in the EMS sector. Right, and so from the standpoint of certain technology development, I think you may see that in an OEM shop. But in terms of applying that technology across a broad scale, the EMS providers don't have the resources to invest in the communications protocols, the analytics that are necessary to really take this thing to the next level, workflows that are necessary around the line. All of these factors come into play. So the more we can provide our EMS provider from a single line solution, the better off they are, because frankly they don't have time or money or desire to take those challenges on themselves.
Right. Now you mentioned that you're obviously you are very invested in HanWha's CFX platform. On top of that, you build your own ASM assembly systems software.
Yes.
So what benefits do you see with customers using that system?
So as I look at the larger picture of a manufacturing facility, SMT is only one part of it, right? There's the box build. You've got your material management. You've got your test area. All of these areas need to be integrated. So from a manufacturing execution standpoint, all of this needs to be monitored, controlled, optimized, and this is the next level, right? So we made significant investments in MES software. We've made significant investments in actually more of an operating system approach where we can write custom applications and plug them in, for example. The joint venture with Hanwhas, for example, is a number of companies. It doesn't matter if you've got plastic injection machines or SMT lines. You got to tie all that stuff together.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So it's a bigger picture.
It's a bigger picture. I'm guessing you're going somewhere along the same line, Michael, but you've got your Panasonic system, which is your main operating system for your full line solutions. What benefits does that bring?
Well, it's we've had Panasonic because Panasonic's been a product that's been around for a long time. It's an MES solution that we developed because of customer requirement. We have several customers who are in the automotive sector that need certain trace data. They need analytics out of the equipment. They need to fail-safe the equipment to make sure, for example, the right part number goes in the right slot and they don't build boards with incorrect parts on them and so forth. So that kind of started the whole snowball, if you will. And then those customers the bar raises every single year for what they want out of us as an MES provider, a full solution provider. Now they're looking for us to do things like process flow. So, for example, they make sure that a board goes to, let's say, conformal coat before it goes to deep paneling, for example. So, we're looking at the back end, looking at the entire factory, like Jeff said, beyond SMT. So we provide the traceability, the material control software, the process tracking across the entire factory.
So
just
you're
not the
putting this
SMT
together
line.
into an MES system that controls the entire factory space.
Oh, absolutely. In
Yeah.
fact, we have, we're deploying now scheduling software that goes there all the way from incoming, receiving out to pack out. So customers want to look at the entire factory, all their resources, all their processes, and schedule around that, just not their SMT line. So that's really what the market's pushing us toward. I mean, if you look at what all of us have in our booths now, people aren't sticking their heads in machines anymore. They want to come to a look at a CRT monitor and see, hey, what are these guys doing from a software standpoint? How are they going to improve my quality, improve my OE, and make me a more efficient manufacturer? That's what people want.
Well, it seems there's two approaches to this. I mean, there is the approach where some of you bigger vendors are going into providing the holistic MES system controlling the whole factory, and there are some some companies that are sticking with the full line solution, but employing some of the existing MES systems that are out there in the market. What's the HanWha approach to this?
Well, the HanWha approach is to certainly offer a homegrown T solution software set that enables us to achieve the front end, the production line, and then the back end process management and control. But we also want to be openly compatible with some of the third-party systems that are out there too. Not to suggest that we have the do-all, end-all solution to be able to monitor all the front end, mid, and back end processes. But we want to be able to provide a software solution that's a scalable solution. We want to be able to adapt to the marketplace where we have a lot of customers that have big investments already in other MES systems. So the challenge for us is not just to find a way to be compatible with our homegrown T-Solution software, but it's also trying to manage big data. And I have to use the word big data here because we're all talking about all of these processes. And I have to tell you, the EMS companies are certainly major drivers of all of this technology. What they want to do is, it does change every day, and it continues to get tougher and tougher and tougher. And we like being challenged, and we try to address that challenge with systems that are certainly effective, that can do what they want to do, but we can't discount the fact that we have to be compatible with a lot of other business opportunity that's out there that already has investments in outside systems. So our challenge is to find a way to be compatible with the outside systems, but also find a way to offer a very streamlined, very successful, very functional homegrown system called T-Solutions, and T stands for total, of course. So we're trying to be a company that can develop a software set that can do many things outside of what's just being done on the production line right now.
So you're heading in the same direction.
We certainly are, but I have to say that the challenges of managing the big data and that data increasing, it just every day it seems like there's more data, and every machine, every process that you want to try to bring into that exponentially increases the amount of data that we're having to parse through and utilize and ultimately control and identify where can we make efficiency improvements, et cetera.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
One of the big holy grails of the industry has been to try and close the DFM loop, the design for manufacturing loop, and obviously controlling all the parameters within the line and the factory can help you to do that. Are you controlling just the factory parameters, or are you able to go further downstream back to the designer with some of the data that you're pulling off the line?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question, Trevor. Because if you look at let's start with a stencil printer, for example. We offer solutions that are AI centric, that allow us to exactly as you say, the design for manufacturing and the ability to identify areas of the stencil that are going to create problems. Do you have the right paste? Do you have the right squeegee pressure? Do you have the right squeegee speed? Do you have the right separation speed? Do you all of these factors, right? Is the under stencil wipe happening often enough? Or is it happening too often, right? So all of these things go into a closed loop feedback system that end up giving the manufacturer a chance to have self-correcting systems, right? That take the guesswork out of actually running a screen printer, or a stencil printer. If you look at a line, you've got millions of dollars of equipment potentially sitting there on the floor, and it takes somebody with a feel for printing to make it work right.
Right.
Our objective is to take that guesswork entirely out of the process, right?
Right. I mean, it's really got to come down that the AI is going to feed back to the designer eventually and create rules that help him with design. That he, no, you can't design the board this way because it's going to have this negative effect on the printing process.
And in fact, it goes one step further. We provide software to the designers that give them a chance to do a virtual first build of that stencil,
right, before
they ever cut the stencil.
Right.
So they can make the modifications before that stencil's cut, and then take that to the line.
So would you agree, Michael? Is the idea to get your software, your Panasonic software systems reporting back to the design level to try and close that loop?
We want to, I mean, whatever it takes to enable a customer to cut down that cycle time from, design stage to NPI and prototype out on the shop floor to bringing it up to full production. I mean, we've spent a lot of time and effort on NPI related tools that enable customers to basically, back in the old day, we used to build boards with double sticky tape, right? And take a bunch of expensive parts and throw them away at the end of the day. Those days are gone. I mean, with the software tools we have available today, with the graphic tools that we're able to give our customers, they can put a first article build into a line, send it all the way through, and have that first board built with basically mistake-proof, right parts in right place, with the line basically fully characterized, and never throw a single part away. That's our goal. That's what customers want, and that's what enables them to be able to cut down that time to market lead time, and especially with customers who have short life cycle products. Each day they don't get a product deployed to a manufacturing line is money down the drain for them. Right. So we want to offer value by improving upon that. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, it's very true. I mean, very often products don't take 5 or 6 turns before they get into production. We've got to cut that down. We've got to eliminate it, and we've got to use the systems that you guys are producing to do that.
Well, the front end design process, I mean, currently we do not have an interface that works with the DFM aspect of that, but we are working very aggressively to deliver solutions that enable us to synthetically run simulations to identify where process points can be improved. And as Jeff was talking about, the closed loop points, the process points in the line, to be able to identify and ultimately predict or prevent defects is something that we're working very, very hard to do right now. And we're delivering this now with our T-Solutions product. But I think perhaps the next step is to explore how far upstream can we go to help complement all the investment that's being made right now to make a line a smarter line, a more efficient line, a more effective line altogether. And I like the idea of working more on the front end from a DFM standpoint, because if you can cut that down, I think that's consistent where the EMS companies are going, because as you know, product life cycles are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, right? So time is money, right? Yep. And if we can all find a way to show people how they can be more cost efficient with their time investment, I think we're all going to be better serving to the marketplace today.
Right, right. That's a good point. I mean, product life cycles are getting shorter. We're getting a much higher mix coming in. But one of the other benefits of the smart factory is we are cutting down machine downtime. We are improving yield. So, and all of that is meaning you're going to have to react quicker. You're going to have to be able to change over your stencils quicker in your stencil printer. You're going to have to be able to change over your feeder banks quicker and maybe on the fly. So, because the next job is already coming down the line. What sort of steps are you taking to?
So I think it's an interesting avenue or interesting area to explore, Trevor. If I was in a conversation last night, as a matter of fact, with a couple of people about the proverbial lights out factory, right? Mm-hmm. Well, to achieve a lights out approach to a factory, you have to have machines that can service machines. So as the machines continue to evolve, as the equipment in the line continues to evolve, every aspect of design has to be suitable to be serviced by a robot or an AIV or some sense of automatic refillment and that kind of thing. So as we continue down this path of higher degrees of automation and foolproofing the manufacturing process, if you will, more cost is eliminated, more automation is brought to bear, mm-hmm. and you end up with solutions that are self-correcting, self-servicing, right. and really approaching that almost lights out vision.
Vision, right.
So,
right. Okay, Michael. I mean, we're all talking about the savings that we can make in this. Are there real financial examples that you can show customers of how they can save cost employing a full line solution?
Yeah, we try to engage with customers such that we understand. We actually try to put together a template ROI model, if you will, and we found that although customers have very typical things they often struggle with, we try to do the discovery work to find out from a customer where the pain really is, mm-hmm. How we can help them, and develop a kind of an application-specific financial model to help them get there. As in a couple examples, you see a lot of effort in regards to everybody's got some semblance of automated material management, right? Whether it's AGVs delivering parts to the line, or whether we have towers or smart carts, and it's all in an effort to improve operational efficiency of the line. If you spend time at the larger contract manufacturers, I spent a week in Guadalajara just observing and watching where the real OEE improvements can be made, and everybody struggles with getting material to the line. Everybody does, and they'll tell you. I mean, they understand it. So, there's so much parity right now. For example, with pick and place equipment, that machines do a good job of putting parts on the board. Mm-hmm. But it's like a Formula One car that's sitting in the pits for 10 minutes waiting on a tire, right? You're not going to win a race that way. So we're trying to help customers such that we can get the materials to the line, improve that operational efficiency. And when we do that, it's really a pretty easy financial justification. If we can get another 1 or 2 hours out of their production line a day, it saves labor, they generate more revenue, and you can put a dollar sign to it. And quite frankly, that's what we want to do anyway. We don't want the customer to waste their time. We don't want to waste our time. So if we can help them get in, partner with them early, develop a financial justification, then we're off and running, and we help them make more money, and we sell more equipment.
That makes a lot of sense, of course, Jonny. But the reality is, in Europe and United States, typically the approach with customers to smart factories is to look at the pain points and say, well, we'll fix this pain point, and then maybe a few months later we'll fix that pain point, and eventually we'll join it all up together. Yep. Versus Asia, where they literally rip out the line and put a new line in to get maximum efficiency. Mm-hmm. Is that a mental barrier we have to try and break down with Western manufacturers? Well,
it's all about being honest with everybody. The customers have to be honest with their supply prospect, and when you go through the discovery phase to try to identify where those pain points are, sometimes it's a little difficult to identify where the real pain points are. And I have to tell you, it doesn't matter the size of the company and how great the company is. Every single company we go into, whether it's Europe, whether it's China, whether it's North America, you go to the pick and place machine, and you can look at runtime and you can look at wait time, all right? And every single one of those machines has wait time, and everyone wants to eliminate that wait time. And it all boils down to material replenishment on the line. I couldn't agree with that more. Yeah. And I think, we all have intelligent systems that can tell you in advance when you're going to run out. but I'm not sure what the magic formula is to get our customers and our clients to look at that more often all day and be cognizant of when that machine stops, it's not building product. And you can make the line as smart as you want, but until everybody sees the benefit of making sure the parts are either at the line, on the line, whether it's delivered by an AGV or whether someone already has a secondary feeder loaded, we've got to reduce that wait time on the line, because the printer, the SPI, the AOI, the reflow, everything depends on that placement machine running.
Right.
So for us, it's all about time efficiency in any system that we can develop to help people see what the implications are in advance, but also recognize how important those are to resolve.
Right.
is really paramount for us,
Yeah,
for our
yeah.
success and for theirs.
Absolutely, machine uptime is critical. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and putting the financial argument over that, you know, they could make the same amount of product in 3 lines instead of 4, so they don't need to spend that extra $2 million on that 4th line. So, gentlemen, it's been great talking to you today. Unfortunately, we're under time constraints, so we're going to have to end it there. But thank you very much for joining us. We have Jeff Timms from ASM Assembly Systems.
Thank you.
Michael Sayers from Panasonic, and of course, Jonny Nichols from HanWha.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today.